Yeah, it was heartbreaking. We'd moved from Townsville to Melbourne and seemingly a normal family, and within 2.5 days of him starting school down there, and these famous last words that will ruin my life, "You should get your son's hearing tested," just turned our lives upside down. We moved to Sydney in 2010 because my husband's in the army, and we were eligible for relocation tutoring for Chaz and that funding. So we needed to find somewhere, and everyone recommended at the school community to come to Learning Links. This is his second year. Sky's the limit.
Learning Links was set up about 40 years ago by a group of parents in someone's living room. They had a group of children who were at school who had learning difficulties, and they themselves were not able to gain support 40 years ago.
So Learning Links is a non-government organisation that works with children and their families and carers.
Learning Links is primarily located in Sydney, although we do provide a range of services beyond Sydney and in some instances interstate.
We have two main service locations at Mount Pritchard and at Peakhurst, and smaller locations around Sydney, one being at Maroubra.
The sort of children we're working with are children with disabilities and developmental delays, children with learning support needs, learning difficulties, and those children that are at risk of not achieving their developmental and learning milestones.
Well, Chaz was first diagnosed with ADHD in 2005, and that then prompted a whole heap of testing, the rundown through medication, to medicate, not to medicate. And then last year we finally came with the diagnosis of atypical autism, which is effectively not autism, but falls under the autism spectrum disorder. So he has traits of Asperger's and he has traits of ADHD.
It's very important for children with additional needs and disabilities to have early intervention. We know through studies and research that the benefits of early intervention are long-lasting for children, and particularly those children with disabilities.
So we see children with any sort of disability here at Learning Links. They can be acquired disabilities, like an acquired brain injury. They can be developmental, like autism, or they can be genetic, like Fragile X or Down syndrome.
All children are included, be it the severity of their needs, so whether they have quite significant, moderate or low needs, all children are included within the program.
We have around 24 separate programs for children, and they are targeted according to a child's age and the needs of a child.
So Learning Links itself does offer a range of services that include school-age services, preschool, the program that I work in, and other early intervention services aimed at both babies and the toddler age group.
We also have a range of programs for school-age children with a very strong focus on literacy and numeracy. Many of those are provided from our locations, but we also do a lot of work in the community and in schools.
We provide case management services where we help and support families to get services in place for their children and help coordinate that for them. And we provide counselling and parenting support for families to deal with the issues that arise because of having a child with additional needs in the family.
And then we have another program, which is our workshops program for professionals. This is for the service providers that are throughout the sector providing services for children with disabilities and their families. And over 2,000 professionals participated in that program last year.
When we first came to Learning Links, Chaz was probably reading at a grade 1 standard, and he was in grade 3, and a grade 2, started grade 3. He didn't like reading, and it was tedious for him. We've just had his comprehension tested, and after a year and a half with Learning Links and his tutor, who has become part of our family, his comprehension level is now at 29 and the benchmark is 30. So we have caught up 5 years worth of education and bringing him back up to the standard where he needs to be. That's 5 years of hard work in 18 months. And without Learning Links, we wouldn't have been able to do that.
Disabilities can be an obstacle to achieving needs, and We are committed to providing interventions that are going to assist the child either overcome or manage as effectively as possible the impact of their disability or their condition, so they can be the best that they can be.
From a mother's point of view, the most beautiful scene I've ever had with him came probably about 6 months ago when he sat down with his baby sister and read her a story. And he wouldn't have been able to do that before learning links. And now he can do it, and he does it every day now.
As a CEO, I'm committed to ensuring that the wonderful work we do not only continues, but that it grows. Currently, we are making an impact on the lives of thousands of children, but there is so much more we can do. 1 in 5 children has difficulty learning. Many, many more are at risk of not achieving developmental and learning milestones. The need out there for our services, the need for us to make a difference in the lives of quite literally hundreds of thousands of children is very real. Now that's an exciting prospect, it's a huge challenge, but that's what I am committed to see in the years ahead for Learning Links.
It's so important to me because I understand the challenges that families who have a child with additional needs face, and I can see that Learning Links makes such a difference in the lives of those people. And I work here because I want to make a difference in people's lives. I had a family say to one of my workers the other day, "We now have laughter again in our home because you have been involved in our lives and provided us so much support."
Learning Links is a not-for-profit organisation. We are dependent on donations and funding to make our programs run successfully. Obviously, the more funding and donations we have, the better and the bigger the programs we can operate, and the more families that we can include.
We now live in a world of social media, and in terms of the general public becoming more active in terms of the conversations and participating in the dialogue about these important issues. We have Twitter, we have Facebook, and of course we would invite all members of the public who are interested in these issues to visit our website www.learninglinks.org.au.
You know, if another parent out there, I can tell them that there's, light at the end of the tunnel and Learning Links is able to flip the switch on that light, then absolutely.